daily walk.
Jumpy, jumpy. Yep. Yep. So hey everybody, this is Sean with the Good Dog. Got a couple new recruits here. We've got Bronte and Henry. And hi Henry. And they've come in for major reactivity on leash and a lot of monkey business in the house. Some pretty unstable behavior around people, especially with Bronte. This one's picking up bad habits towards dogs and people. But this one, the owners can't really even have people over without a lot of trouble and stress and fear. So we're going to be working on all that. You can see Bronte, I probably saw back there, but Bronte's very jumpy, very nervous, and so that nervousness and stress is where all the bad choices and behavior are coming from. So our goal is going to be to remove all that stuff and get Bronte calm and relaxed and get Henry in a good space. Start erasing some of the bad messages that Bronte's been sending to Henry about how to behave, give him a new program. I took a link out of both their prongs, and they were both pretty loose. The owners went out and got prongs, which is awesome. Started to help, but they were too loose, and so they were having a hard time communicating with the dog. So took a link out, a little bit better. Still not perfect fits, but I'll adjust them as I go. I think it might be the best that I can get with these two. So we're just going to take them for a little spin. I always like to gauge dogs when they first come in and see what kind of stuff I can get from them straight away, and also get them energy-wise into a good space, so when they go into when they spend time in our kennel, they're not sending out any bad juju to the other dogs, getting anybody worked up, stressed out, any of that stuff. So I like to lay a nice little foundation first day, get them in a good zone, and then bring them in there so everybody's cuddly, cozy, and in a good space. So we're going to take off, check it out, see what we get. As always, we're going to be setting a tone straight away with the thresholds. Both these guys are used to pushing, so we'll let them know that pushiness is not going to be working this time. We'll walk them right up to the threshold. New rules, guys. Yep. So their owners say that they walk pretty nice on leash with each other. It's just when they see dogs, and that's fantastic. Or when they see kids, I guess, or people, they also, any kind of close encounters with people causes this one to growl and lunge and do the whole deal. But I think that my walk is probably going to be asking a little bit more of them than the owner's walk. So I'm going to really press both these dogs to give me fantastic, immaculate walk. We may not get it straight away right now, but we're going to get the beginnings of a really immaculate walk. So what can feel for a lot of owners like, hey, they're walking pretty close to me, it seems pretty good, can still be a stressed out dog. Hang on one sec. So what I'd like you to check out, hopefully you can hear me, what I'd like you to check out is that even though they're not pulling tremendously on the leash, there's still tension, they're still worked up, they're still stressed out, and they're still not connected and relaxed with me. So you can't really expect to have non-reactive dogs if you can't get them to relax and tune in. Like, still too much. So I'm going to work on both of them, get them both into a nice, easy state. So whereas the owners were okay with having them a little bit out in front, it might have felt like being right next to them for them, but I'm going to ask a little bit more behind me, a little more stuff. So all these little nuances are super important. Yep. So I can feel a little bit of relaxation happening. They're starting to fight the leash a little bit less. Which tells me they're not just walking, they're not just in a different position physically, but they're starting to get into a different position mentally. So I don't do competition obedience or any fancy stuff like that, so I don't care about where the dog's at, how it looks, aesthetic-wise. I care about the position for what it does for the dog's state of mind. And I'm going to demand a lot to see how the dog feels about what I demand. Are they going to resist that demand? Are they going to comply with it? Are they going to get down with it and get into a good space with me? So I'm training them for something, but I'm also gauging and checking them. I'm checking in about, all right, how do you feel about really responding and listening to somebody when they ask a lot of you? So some dogs are absolutely cool with it. Some dogs are going to fight. The more you ask, the more you'll start to find where the resistance is. So if you don't ask too much, oftentimes you won't find any resistance. And so a lot of owners think, dog's pretty good, you know. But it's, you know, when you ask them to actually give you a high level of something, and I don't mean like high performance wise, I mean like don't move off place when people walk in the door. Don't pull on the leash when dogs go walking by or any of that stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to de-escalate. That correction is used for a very specific purpose, and that's to take a little wind out of the sails of some of this, you know, scanning nuttiness that's going on. It's just an old habit. They're super used to scanning and looking for trouble. Where am I going to get my next hit of adrenaline, my next dump of excitement, and do this whole thing? So I'm going to say you're not going to get that. You're only going to get your next dump of relaxation. So, different program. But that's just a habit. They're an emotional habit pattern of looking for a hit of juice. Here. So every time I'm correcting, it's for pulling on the leash just a teeny bit, or getting out of position a teeny bit, which is telling me that they're tuning out from me. They're not connected with me. So if they're pulling on the leash or out of position, they're probably up to no good. They're probably looking at something they shouldn't be looking, thinking something they shouldn't be thinking. There's a dog right there. Look at that. A little peek, a little small one. Sit. Some people. Which would oftentimes cause reactions of growling and things like that. And I have dogs that are pushy with their owners, like these guys were. You'll see in the video, that if you haven't already seen it, we haven't cut this together, so I won't know when you'll see it, before or after. But when we have dogs that are being pushy with their owners like this, and have been practicing being bratty and pushy, I like to set a tone straight away. First day, I like to get them in a nice, respectful zone. You're not going to behave like you used to with us. It can be a different thing. Habit. So the habit even though this one's the main problem, Henry over here has picked up the habit that when I see dogs, I stare at them and I think naughty thoughts and I do naughty things. So, just telling Henry, we're not going to practice that anymore. You're not allowed to stare at dogs and think untoward thoughts. So we got an off-leasher. I don't know if you can hear me because of the freeway traffic, but got an off-leash dog up here. So I'm going to give her a little space. Hopefully she's got her dog under control. Sit. Let's go. So that is the attitude and the mentality behind everything that dog just did with me, disagreeing with the leash, disagreeing with me putting the dog in a certain position, is all the state of mind stuff that's getting this dog into trouble. So we just address it. Saw a naughty moment. Dog disagreed with listening to a human. Tried to jump up on me and, kind of control the situation with a bunch of tantrumy stuff. And just said, nope, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at him. Just I have to disagree with that. We don't do that kind of stuff. Let's have a little seat. Everybody behaves themselves. Sit. No staring. Got a dog on e-collar. No wonder she's got the best behaved dog out here. She's got a dog on e-collar. Who trained that dog? Wasn't me though. Good. No. Yep, come on. You hear that? You guys got confidence. Straight away.